I always mention in a lot of my interviews that I kind of gave up my six-figure job and stopped working for retarded people because I saw that I no longer fit into the gist of everything, and that it was time to kind of move on. If I look back though, to credit those people that I call retarded, it's not that they're retarded or that they're just, it's more the idea that they're just confused, and I guess their vision is very narrow-minded. And I call them retarded simply because if you add to the idea that they're narrow-minded, their vision that is so narrow-minded is the vision that is shared amongst their employees, which their employees kind of, they're following them, so their employees matter. The employees are people who are influenced, and as a result of their narrow vision, they influence them in the wrong way, and that by itself is very retarded. When I watch people in such leadership positions, it actually disgusts me because it shows how poor the future of those other people following them really is, and that's sad. When I think of myself, I think that I got to a place in my life where, fortunately, money was not the only thing that mattered anymore, and I had made enough of it that I was comfortable not having to work for it. I actually, self-reflected on that moment when I was there and realized that when you get to work, and I know this may sound weird, but when you get to work and you park a Lamborghini next to people who drive Acura TLs and Maximas and Honda Civics, you take one glance outside only to realize how different you are. And what I mean by that is not the fact that you're better because you drive a better car, but rather because you believe in different things, which is why you drive what you drive and you do what you do. And when I stand there and I think of, that aspect that people that are above me and above me wonder what I do for a living, or what I do outside of my business, outside of my role in my 9 to 5 to be able to afford these things, and aspire to be like me, even though I am supposed to aspire to be like them, then I start to rethink my position on if I'm in the right place or not. And in the past, that's exactly what's happened. I've realized that perhaps the people I'm around are not the individuals that are going to help me become even more successful, and that if indeed it is them that I want to be like when I go get to the next step or not. The more I thought about it, the more I actually thought about, growing to the next level, and the next level. I realized that it wasn't what I wanted at all. I really wanted nothing to do with being my boss or being my boss's boss. I thought their lives were pathetic. And I realized that what they believed to be a great life was what I considered to be a very mediocre one. And what they considered these things I had to be like an aspiration, I considered them to be a minimum requirement since I was like 18 years of age. So I never thought of those things as aspirations. I've always thought of them as like, this is the life that I'm gonna work to have, and I had it, and they wished for it. And I never, understood that jealousy, and I never understood the reasoning behind why people, I guess, looked at that in a negative sense. And I figured, if you're not admired for the hard work you've done, if you're not admired for the accomplishments you've had, and instead you're looked at as a black sheep ultimately for being different, or if you look ahead and everyone else ahead looks different, then you need to reconsider the path you're on. And regardless of the monetary gains that I was gaining from doing almost nothing at my job, when I say nothing, I was delegating so well that I wasn't spending much time doing actual work. And I thought about it, and it was a hard decision to let go of that additional income that I was doing nothing for. But I decided that it was just best for the long term if I really was surrounded by individuals that mattered. I tell people in their coaching sessions all the time that people that are around you will define who you become tomorrow, because they'll introduce you to more and more people, and you'll become, I guess, more like them. And that's what you would want. You would want people around you that you want to be more like. And so it would be going against my own, ultimately, coaching if I wasn't doing the same for myself. And so I felt it was hypocritical if I actually stayed somewhere where I knew, first off, I was miserable. Two, people were jealous of the amount of success rather than actually curious and admired it. They rather showed negativity towards it. And then three, I felt that those that admired it couldn't even understand it. And so I said, well, perhaps since I don't want to be you and you want to be me, we're in different roles and we shouldn't be in the same scope of things. So I kind of remove myself from the equation instead of expecting others to change. And I think that's the biggest learning here, is that sometimes it's not them, it's you. You need to realize that you're different and you don't fit somewhere, and that you need to remove yourself rather than have them remove you, or even get to a place where you expect them to remove themselves or to change. So I definitely urge you to think about where you are today, and if it is aligned with where you want to be tomorrow, and if it's not, then make change.